Hello again, everybody. I'm Eric Christopher, president of WSC Realty Advisors and WSC Property Management in Long Beach. I've been an apartment owner, broker, and property manager for 15 years. Wow, where does the time go, right? But anyway, today we're going to be talking about renting units as part of our property management series. An empty apartment unit is a lot like an empty seat on an airliner. The second that plane takes off with empty seats, the revenue potential for those seats is lost forever. And that's really similar to your apartment unit. For each day, week, or month that your unit sits empty, that's lost revenue that can never be made up. Now, simple math on a unit renting for $1,750 is $58 per day. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up quick. Filling a vacancy is the top priority here at WSC. The process for filling a vacancy actually begins the day we get a 30-day move-out notice from the previous tenant. And as soon as we get that notice, we schedule a walkthrough. Now, for a decent tenant, you can usually use that and double that inspection up as a move-out inspection, but primarily the reason I'm there so early is to get a plan together for the unit after they've left. Is this a simple turnaround with just a few fix-its or touch-ups, or is it better to do a larger rehab so that you can gain much higher rents? Either way, sizing up the unit early pays off dividends later. Half of this plan is providing a rough scope of work and getting a scheduled date for our construction and handyman team to go in there the day after the unit's vacated. Now from there, we stay in touch with the tenant because we want to make sure they're going to be out on the day they said they were. I hate to see a good schedule messed up by a tenant needing to hold over for a few days or a week, so I like to keep in touch with them just to check and make sure they're going to be out when they said they would. If you have the right process in place and the right people like we do, a unit can be ready for showing just a day or two after it's vacated. Now, obviously, that may be a little longer if you're digging in on some heavier improvements, but even then, if you have it scheduled right, it coordinated right, it shouldn't be down for that long. Now, let's turn the page to marketing and renting the unit. I don't recommend showing a unit that isn't ready or at least very close to being ready for showing. I know the temptation's there, but when I've done that, I've found that the conversion to the people actually becoming a tenant is very low. And I guess the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression does fit here. You know, for a prospective tenant, when we show them a unit, the first thing that has to happen is they have to mentally see themselves living there. And if you're showing them an empty unit, it's kind of messy and nothing's been done, you can even tell them what you're going to do to the unit. They won't be able to see it. And there's a very low probability that they can see themselves living there. Now, as we get to the end of the unit turn process, whether that's a day or two or a week or something, we're coordinating to position the marketing materials so that that's starting right about the time the guys are leaving the site with all their tools. Right then, here come the inquiries. As an apartment owner, broker, and manager in Long Beach for 15 years, I call a lot of for rent signs as a tenant. And I do that because I want to keep abreast of what's going on in the market, what people are trying to get for units and how the outside of the building looks and just the amenities that I can maybe size up on that. I track the stats on those. I guess I can't help it. I'm an accountant in my past life, but there's something very interesting here. Out of the calls I've made, and I've tracked this in a spreadsheet for many years, around 55% of the calls I make, no one picks up the call and no one ever calls me back. Now, the 45% that do call me back, or maybe I can reach them on the phone originally, it's not all the time that easy to get a showing of the property. In some cases, the owner or manager can't meet me for 2 or 3 days to show me the unit. Now, this can be the case for owner managers. They're working a job, they're busy with their families, they've got a lot of things going on, and they may not live that close to the property. But this is just as big of a problem with the larger management companies. The problem with that is the rep, the person that's actually handling your property day to day, got probably 200 or 300 units that they're trying to manage, and that's just too many. So how could this equation ever work? I mean, the tenants you really want to have in your building are usually very busy with work and other life responsibilities like you are. And if the process to make contact and see the unit isn't able to be done quickly and conveniently, they'll be gone in 60 seconds, gone for good. So one of the reasons when I started the management division of the company is going to be specific to Long Beach only, is that we know we're usually 15 minutes or less away from your property. We're usually accessible to take for rent calls from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And when a prospective tenant asks when they can see the unit, they're sometimes kind of surprised that I tell them, hey, you want to meet in 15 minutes? Because a lot of these people are driving around looking at signs in a certain area they want to live. Maybe they've got family or friends there and say, yeah, I want to live right in this area. Go around, look at the for rent signs and make calls. And if I can tell them, hey, go get a cup of coffee or a soda around the corner and I'll meet you in 15 minutes, that may get me a showing that the other guys aren't going to get. And that may be just the perfect tenant that you want. If the prospect needs a future date to see the unit, maybe they've only got a small window where they can come and look. We'll schedule that right then and there. And I really am used to showing units at 6:30 in the morning, 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. I mean, it really is 7 days a week. The biggest top goal of our company is to find a good tenant for your empty unit. And that's how we work. So ask yourself this question. How long does it take to fill a vacancy? Is it done efficiently? Is there a plan? Are you kept abreast of where they are in that plan? You know, if you're self-managing and overly busy with your life and kind of struggle with this process, or maybe your current manager just doesn't have the system and process to provide the speedy results that you need, I encourage you to give me a call. If it's done quickly and efficiently, you don't have to look at a zero on that income statement for the next month or two and wonder when there's going to be a new tenant. You may not even have to look at a zero on one statement. Stay tuned for our next brief video covering what to do with applications when you get them. Also, check out my out-of-state investing platform videos. I just did a recent trip to Phoenix and discovered a lot of interesting apartment investments in that market. I look forward to talking with you soon, and stay tuned for the next video.